Today we celebrate Fully Alive at 35 with our 6th video interview. Our interviewee, Diane Reynolds, first attended an MCC service 24 years ago in Pennsylvania, and when she moved to Florida 9 years ago, she felt blessed that she found MCC of the Palm Beaches. Currently very active on the worship team, she looks forward to volunteering even more of her talents when she retires. Interviewing Diane is Kimberly Grimes, who along with her wife Mallory and their daughter Rihanna joined MCCPB a year and a half ago. Her entire family has been very active in MCCPB, especially with the under 35 and the parents groups. Kimberly is delighted to be interviewing Diane since she credits Diane's warm and welcoming spirit and embrace of her family as one of the key reasons that kept them coming back to MCC of the Palm Beaches.
Diane, what caused you to visit MCC for the first time?
I was born and raised in the Catholic religion, attended Catholic school, and attended church regularly for 30 years. And then I stopped getting a message from the priest's homily and sermons, so I started to look in other directions. I actually started to listen to an evangelist on a Sunday morning. For about 2 years I listened to this person, and then he went off the air. So that caused me to go out and visit different churches and different denominations. Some of the churches that I went to did not make me feel comfortable because of the way that I was dressed. And actually a few of the pastors in some of those churches came up to me after the service and asked if I would not return because of the way that I was dressed. So a friend of mine was telling me about an MCC church in one of our neighboring towns, and I decided to give it a try. I walked in, I was greeted by the pastor, made me feel very welcome, thanked me for coming. And I got a message off of her sermon. She was very young and very energetic. And then I just continued to go back, and I stayed there for 15 years.
How has MCC of the Palm Beaches helped you to become more fully alive?
I moved down here 9 years ago, and I went online to look at some MCC churches to visit. And when I walked into this church here, I was met at the front door by Charlie Fredrickson, who immediately welcomed me, greeted me, and thanked me for coming, and I felt pretty comfortable right away. After the service, I went into the fellowship hall, and I was greeted by Pastor Marion and his husband Wayne, Tiny and her wife Pauline, and a gentleman in a wheelchair named Mike Trueblood. These people just made me feel so comfortable and so welcome, and they asked me to please come back, and that just made me feel so good. And I did. When I went out to my car to leave that Sunday morning, I can still remember, I looked up and I thanked God that I finally found a church that I could call my home. And then about 5 years ago, we were blessed to get a young pastor from California, Dr. Leah Brown, along with her wife, Sarah Helen. And the message that I started to receive from her sermon started to get strong and good. And every Sunday I leave with a very strong message from Leah, which really makes me feel good and carries me through for the week. And I've always said that a church is like a hospital for sinners. And if that's the case, the senior pastor would be the chief surgeon, and in our case, I think we have the best chief surgeon in the state of Florida.
When MCCPB turns 40 in 5 years, what accomplishments or successes do you believe that you'll be celebrating?
Well, I personally would like to see our membership double, and I think it can. We've got our pastor who is outside the church, attending events, being on television, and doing her part in bringing new people into our church. Also, our music minister, Jeremiah, does his part also by heading up the 30 and under youth club, which brings some new members in also. But that's only half of the job. We have to do the second half of the job once new people get here. We have to wrap our arms around these people, make them feel welcome, thank them for coming, and then ask them to come back. You know, as busy as I am with the services, because I'm pretty involved, I always find time to see new people, welcome them, put my arms around them, thank them for coming, seat them, and then I will get to Pastor Leah or Pastor Marion and let them know we have new people sitting in aisle 6. And as busy as they are before the service, they also find time to go to those people and just thank them for coming. And that's going to be an important part to grow our membership. The other thing is we need to groom people from within, and I mean children. I always carry lollipops and candy in my purse, and I give them to the children whenever I see new children coming in. And I started getting the children more involved in our service by allowing them to carry the cross up front, and sometimes just letting the children walk up front in the procession before the service. That means a lot to the children, and it makes them want to come back. They believe that they're part of the service, and they want to come back and be part of it again and again. The other thing that we do is we have a food pantry that feeds over 20,000 families a year. And we have a lot of people that work very, very hard in that food pantry and that reach out program. And we should somehow find a way that we can get these people to pass the word on to their family and their friends where we are, who we are, and what we're about. Because the more and more people we get in, the more and more people that once we wrap our arms around them and spread our love to them, they'll stay. Thank you.
Well, Diane, thank you so much for taking the time to be here, and thank you for expressing and telling us about your experiences at MCC and at other places as well, and opening up to us. And on a personal note, I do want to say that a big reason why my family and I came back here was because you did exactly what you said. You approached us and you went up to my daughter with open arms and candy, but mainly open arms, and she just took to you and we took to you, and we felt so comfortable because we felt those arms being wrapped around us. And that's a big reason why we started coming back over and over, and then we became members. And I definitely see my daughter blossoming into your vision, and it's absolutely wonderful. And I just want to say thank you so much for that, and for my wife and my daughter and me, thank you for everything.